talking to Vincent Zurzolo, Chief Operating Officer of Metropolis Collectibles and Comic Connect. So, Vinny, what changes have you seen in the years you've been coming to Comic-Con?
Well, Comic-Con has grown tremendously since I started back in, gosh, this is my 18th year. So 18 years ago, this convention room was probably a third the size it is today, and it was almost really all about comic books at that time. Now it's grown into a multimedia show where you have movie producers here, you're premiering films and trailers, there's new toys, video games, so many different things, all encompassing pop culture, which I think is cool. It's great. I think the nucleus still is comic books. It's called the Comic-Con for a reason. I love it. I've been coming in 18 years. I do hope there's one day where I can come just as a fan and not buying and selling comic books.
Okay, so you've had that big span to see what was going on at Comic-Con and the changes that have gone on. What changes have you seen in our marketplace in the last year?
That's a great question. I've seen a big trend toward Golden Age, more and more toward Golden Age. I think people are coming to the realization that Golden Age comic books are extremely rare. They're tough to find. These are books that have a lot of years behind them in terms of building a following in the marketplace. You're talking about books from the 1930s and 40s and even the 50s. So you have books that are very old, very hard to find, and have a great following. You have titles that are always in demand, like Batman, Superman, action, detective, Captain America, Marvel mystery. But then you have a lot of other titles, more esoteric titles that people are really digging. I look at titles like thrilling comics. We just had an incredible auction on ComicConnect.com where we sold the Thrilling Mile High run, and these books went for quadruple and quintuple what the auction estimates were. So you're seeing people who are really digging into this stuff and believing in it as first of all as a collectible that they cherish and that they love, and also as a long-term investment vehicle. So you're seeing prices on key Golden Age books increasing steadily each year, and I've really seen something that I've tried to get into the market and teach people about over the last 5-6 years, and more about Golden Age, and it's really taking root in the last year and a half, and you can see that by the record prices that have been reached in the marketplace. Now, this is not to take away from the Silver Age market or the Bronze Age market. Those are great markets, and obviously Spider-Man's always going to be really popular. But you're asking me about trends, and this is what I'm seeing in changing. Silver Age market is still really strong. You have a lot of people buying comic books from the 1960s, Amazing Fantasy 15, Spider-Man #1, X-Men #1, Fantastic Four #1, and even the DC keys, Brave and the Bold 28, Showcase 22, Showcase 4. These are books that are in very high demand. And you know what? The Bronze Age market had regressed a little bit, because I think what had happened was early on when the books came into the census, the CGC census, there was only 1 or 2 of a book in very high grades, and so people paid a lot of money for those books. And over the last 5, 6, 7 years, what you've seen is a growth in the census, how many books have been graded. So whereas you used to have 1 or 2, now you have 5, 6, 7. And when you think about it, in the overall grand scheme of the comic market, 5, 6, or 7 is still a very small number, but it's changed the perception in terms of value. And what it did is it decreased quite a bit over the last couple years. But what I'm seeing is a plateau and even a strengthening in that market. So slowly but surely, you're going to see those books coming back, or at least staying at a level playing field. And you have a lot of great books from the 1970s. You're talking about very cool covers, great artists, great stories, and storylines that everybody remembers. Anybody around my age, around Jeff's age, around your age, remembers this stuff from their childhood and still cherishes these stories. So to get a 9.6 or a 9.8 is really cool in one of those books, even if there are 5, 6, or 7 copies.
This is JC Vaughn for Scoop and the Fandom Advisory Network, live from Comic-Con.